joining me for another video. I hope you're doing well. Guys, I just recently tested positive for the virus. You know, the one, the C, the 1, the 9. I hope you caught that. Anyway, because of that, I haven't been able to go to work, but I can definitely sit in my chair and make videos. And so today we will be talking about Kamala Harris, and I want to share with you
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, and Anita wants to know if Justin voted. Justin did vote, and thankfully, not only did Justin vote, but he contributed to a Dan Bongino endorsement record that's running around 90%. The guys who voted for the tax hike, one lost and went down in flames bad. The other one barely snuck through because they split the vote. But my school board candidate won, my sheriff candidate won, and 2 out of 3 of the county commissioners won. So yes, we're rocking and rolling locally. Folks, last night, I'm not going to say it was a disaster for the Democrats, okay? It was a little better than night one at the DNC. But there were various debacles. I told you Obama would bring his A game. He gave one of his speeches, you know, hope he changey and all that crap, whatever. But here's the thing. They still cannot get the damn schedule down. I thought they're definitely not, told you yesterday, they're definitely not going to miss Obama in prime time. 9, 10 o'clock the latest. After 11 again, they cannot get this thing down. I'm going to show you some evidence, too, from a lefty site that even the media people are starting to grumble about the DNC. Always bring receipts, folks. I'm not just making this up. Hey, you've heard me rave about Beam every week. Go get it now. They're offering the largest discount at shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino. And the most important part of today's show, you know our guy, Deep State, Mike Benz, right? He's against the Deep State, not for the Deep State. Nobody exposes it better than him. Killer clip of Benz talking about these rent-a riots. This is what I'm telling you is coming in the November to January period if we win. These rent-a riots, these racial riots. Why do you think they're using the Charlottesville Fine People homes? Receipts, folks, coming up. This is an important show, especially beginning. Call your friends right now. Tell them tune in right now to the show. Hey, I'm a proud American. If you come after me and my family, I'll be ready. It's why I use My Patriot Supply to get prepared. Their Mega 3-month emergency food kit comes jam-packed with 33 varieties of filling and delicious foods. Includes creamy chicken-flavored rice, old-fashioned Italian spaghetti, savory cheesy broccoli soup. But you'll also get a bonus protein kit with diced beef, flavorful chicken chunks, and 3 varieties of beans. Stay alive in an emergency. It has fruits, it has vegetables, 9 different kinds, snacks. The emergency food kit provides a whopping 2,500 calories a day. Keep you well-fed and ready for it. The way I see it, it's my duty to protect my family. I need to be prepared. I'm not waiting on the government to save me because they won't. That starts with food you can depend on for up to 25 years. Go today. Don't wait. MyPatriotSupply.com. You'll save $300 on your Mega 3-month emergency food kit. It ships fast and it ships free. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Save $300 on your kit. MyPatriotSupply.com. All right, fellas, let's go. Just a quick update. My ongoing battle with the cold plunge. We need a graphic. Can we get a Dan cold plunge emoji? Just please put some clothes on. Like when I go in, I'm like, you know, that's what Costanza said. I was up to 48 degrees or down to 48 degrees. 2 minutes and 10 seconds today. Woke up. I was as red as a lobster when I got out of there. But I'm telling you, my battle continues. I am going to conquer this thing, get up to like 5 minutes at 40 degrees or something like that. I am committed. Okay, moving on to the important stuff. Folks, did anybody find it odd that the Democrats last night that chose to battle themselves in their own counter program? Wait, what? Did you guys catch this? We just got back from where? Where'd we go? The RNC in Wisconsin, right? You guys know where the DNC is? The DNC is not in Wisconsin, folks. That was the RNC. The DNC is in Chicago. So what was Kamala Harris doing in Wisconsin last night? No, I didn't say that. Why was she in Wisconsin? Counter-programming basically her own convention, where she's now the nominee. Jackie Heinrich from Fox is reporting that there's a big rift going on. Did you guys catch this? By the way, can confirm. It's her reporting. It's not mine. However, afterwards, I asked a trusted individual who said this is absolutely correct. that Team Biden and Team Obama, as I've been reporting for years, folks in the chat, what am I going to say? Hate each other. They hate each other. You notice Biden wasn't there to hear Obama's speech, and Kamala, at a deference to Biden, who's by the way, not to be nice, this is why this is really happening. You want the real inside scoop? Kamala's afraid Biden might sabotage her on the way out, okay? Not publicly, but behind the scenes. So Kamala has to kiss Biden's ass. So out of respect, you following? For Biden, is this making sense, Justin? Out of respect for Biden, Kamala left and went to Wisconsin and did a separate rally. The Democrats, folks, are in real chaos. This convention is a mess so far. Last night was not horrible. I don't want to, I want to be semi-objective about it and say semi because I'm a conservative. And honestly, I don't want to see them succeed because if they do, the country's going to be ruined. We're running against a communist. But I got to give you the truth. Last night was a little bit smoother than night one, but they still screwed it up. They were late again. Obama, their primetime ringer, their bring the righty or the lefty in this case out of the bullpen like John Franco, the closer, he was a lefty. They're bringing him out of the bullpen to save the convention. He gives one of his, hopey-changey speeches, and it wasn't bad. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, it's all crap, of course. And they blew it again. He didn't get on till after 11 o'clock because their speakers cannot shut them up. They just can't shut up. That's the problem with the Democrats. Now, I told you I was going to produce receipts. Here's Max Tanny, who is like to the left of Kamala Harris, okay? Writing in semaphore, no conservative outlet. A friendly media grows grumbly in Chicago. I'm not making it up, folks. You deserve the truth. The convention's a disaster. Kamala Harris has ridden a wave of positive press coverage to Chicago. But to judge by the grumbling here in Chicago, the honeymoon may be ending soon. I always back up what I say. Here's the gist of the semaphore article. I'll save you having to read it. Maybe in a newsletter. Is it a newsletter? If not, don't worry about it. But the gist of the thing is that they screwed up all the media credentialing. They're letting in a bunch of loser influencers who are taking the spots of old school kind of journalist left-wing commies, and they're all pissed off. The workstations don't work. The internet keeps going down. There was a little bit of energy last night for Obama and Lil Jon, who came on and performed. But otherwise, the thing has been a disaster. I'm telling you, if this continues, they're not going to get much of a bump out of this at all. There were some hilarious moments yesterday, too, in this mess of a convention. How do you think this looks to sane people all across America? Here's a guy giving his pronouns on camera as they're doing the nomination process for Kamala Harris, and he gets lost while giving his pronouns at the end in the whole pronoun game. All of America is seeing this. This is the Democrats right in front of your face. Check this out.
My name is Dr. Joey Perella, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm a proud resident of the Garden State. I'm proud to stand with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they stand with the LGBTQ community. It's time to turn the page on Trump. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Guy had a tough time remembering his lines right there. This is a trust Brother Dan. Trust and embrace Brother Dan. Post cold plunge, my brain is working at super high speed today. I'm going to get Michael one. Although apparently Evita, I don't know if you know this, has some experience in the icy cold waters of Wisconsin. Her dad's like a big outdoorsy guy. She does log rolling and jumping in cold lakes. She's like, I've done real cold plunges in 33-degree lakes. I'm like, sorry. Sorry, I didn't know. I learned how to swim in a fire hydrant. Like this. I'm New York City. That's the only place you can swim. You can't swim in a fire hydrant. Oh, trust me. You can. You just got to know how to do it. It got worse last night. What did I tell you yesterday? The Democrats have a problem with this convention. They cannot escape. They can't escape it. They're trying to run, and I'll show you the speech in a second from Obama, a portion of it, not a lot. Don't worry, I'm not going to expose you to the horrifying stupidity too much. But we got to know what we're up against. The problem is they're running on this hopey changey thing, but the change is from them. They're in office now, and not like kind of in office. She's the sitting vice president, and the guy in office right now is the president she's replacing. Do you understand how the message isn't working? I'm seeing polls where Trump is actually getting a bump from their DNC convention. Here's what I mean. Here's Michelle Obama, who, guys, did we call it? Is anyone going to I know self-praise stinks, but they have them in the city. You say, yo, recognize. Someone did I not tell you Michelle Obama was not running? To everyone out there who questioned me, shame, Game of Thrones style. Shame. I told you she wasn't running. Listen to Brother Dan. Here she is last night, giving her speech, and everybody in the crowd is screaming, do something. Do something. You're in office now. You could do it right now. Do it. He's the president. Your guy. They can't escape this. Listen to this. I don't know what they want to do. They're in office now. They can't divorce themselves from the fact that anything they're hoping and changing or hoping to change would be the change from them. In other words, we suck so bad, we need to change what we're doing now because we suck. But vote for us because we'll suck a little less. So they brought out the lefty out of the bullpen, John Franco, to close the game out last night. And of course, he got on after 11 because he completely blew it. The Democrats cannot get their heads out of their ass. I cannot believe that they can't schedule this thing. Apparently, they brought in some big television, big shot TV producer. They have screwed this entire thing up. They cannot get the damn schedule down. Here's Obama at 4 o'clock in the morning, giving a speech again about Joe Biden protecting democracy when nobody believes this. When you ask people who's really protecting democracy, the polls don't lead substantially either way. This message isn't resonating. You can keep saying it as Joe Biden locks up his political opponents. I'm telling you, it's not working. Look at the polls. But that's all Obama's got, because they know Biden sucks. And after all, it was Obama who said, don't underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up. Watch this.
History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend.
He's not your friend. He is not your friend, Barack. They hate each other. If he was there as your friend, he would be sitting up in the VIP booth with his Secret Service detail, accepting the accolades from a glowing round of applause from the audience. He's not your friend. Obama pushed him out. Do you understand that? That's the reason Kamala wasn't there last night either. She's just as ruthless as Obama. She's like, listen, here's what happened. You want to hear the conversation behind the scenes? Here's exactly what went down. Kamala was like, hey, Barack, I hope you understand, but I can't sit there tonight, and watch you give this speech about change because it'll look like I'm kicking my boss, Joe Biden, in the nuts, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depart for Wisconsin and counter-program my own DNC while you're giving the speech. So it looks like you're really riling up the crowd, but that I kind of object to you taking out Joe Biden and calling for hopey changey again, changing from, but you understand that's what happened. This is the scoop you're not going to get anywhere but here. What a mess yesterday. And of course, it got worse. Here are the Democrats, after they'd spent 5 minutes giving their pronouns and forgetting what they're going to say. I'm sorry if you saw this on cable last night. I don't like running clips you can see elsewhere, but this is worth a repeat. Here are the Democrats. I promise, at any Club 47, Tea Party, Libertarian group, Conservative group, Republican group, the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, no one has a hard time with the words. Not at the Democrat convention, where despite the fact they've heard the national anthem, I don't know how old these people are, 30, 40, 50, 60. For 60 years they've been hearing, they still don't know the words to the national anthem. This is hilarious. Check this out.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strides we hailed at the
I'm sorry. I people. I'm reading the chat. What is this? My ears. I'm losing. Dan, please stop. My auditory nerve is now fried. This is the Democrat Party, folks. This is the Democrat Party. They're running on hope and change from the Democrats. While they don't know the national anthem and they waste their time on the pronoun game. This is the Democrat Party. I need you to understand, this is why Trump is getting a bump right now. You know what? I'm going to go out of order. I'm sorry. Can you play that Theo Von thing, guys? I'm sorry, folks. This is not how I intended the show to go down, but I want you to play this for a second. Here's why Trump is getting a bump out of this. Folks, I was reading a tweet by Walter Kern this morning, and Kern said it right. He's like, now I get what Trump's doing. Listen, this is important. Everybody chill for a minute. Listen. This is his idea, not mine. I'm going to take credit for other people's idea, but he's right. He's like, I get what Trump's doing now. Trump's saying, hey, man, I am what I am. You've seen my 4 years. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm going to do what I did in 2016 when we won, in 2020 when I think we won again. And I believe him. And you can take it or you can leave it. You think you don't like it? Fine, but I'm not going to be a phony. And now I see it. I see he's 100% correct. And I played this clip for these guys this morning. It's a short clip, but it's Donald Trump talking to Theo Von. It was actually a really serious conversation. This is a short, very short version of it. But he's talking to Theo Von, very, very famous podcaster. I think he was he a Real World Road Rules guy, Michael? Do you know? I think so. But this guy is very popular. Huge, huge audience. Up there with the biggest shows, right? And Trump's on there in just this natural kind of back and forth conversation that it's almost like no one in the Democrat Party can actually do, and that's be authentic. The addiction thing is really serious with Donald Trump. He lost his brother, Fred. So watch how he's talking to Theo Von about cocaine and other things. Like, this is just Trump. Like watch, I'll tell you what I mean after this. Play the clip.
How did you get addicted? How did? No, I would just do cocaine. That was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man, and I'm not doing it.
Is it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it.
Guys, with the show, Guy said, was it Guy? I think it was Guy. You know, Guy never says anything. So when Guy says something, you got to listen because he usually means it. And Guy's like, Dan, you have been telling us Trump is like this forever. Guy's like a robot. Like he never says anything ever. And I'm like, I know. He's like, you're right. Guys, I'm not name dropping. I promise. Nobody gives a shit that I had dinner with Trump a couple times, okay? Nobody cares. He's had dinner with a lot of people. Put it aside. I promise you I'm not name dropping. I'm just telling you, I've been alone with him, actually with Paula a couple times, where there's not a group of people around. I am telling you, put aside the politics. That is exactly how he is. Guy asked me that before the show. I've told Guy 1,000 times. That is exactly how he is. You'll be sitting at a table with him. You'll bring up some random thing. I think one time I brought up to him that my family owned a bar. And he was like, how's the bar business? Is there a lot of revenue in that? How does it work? Do you have to clean the place a lot? How do you do security? How do you find bartenders? He's just curious about everything, but it's never fake. So Theo Von's like, yeah, I did cocaine. And Trump, who doesn't do drugs, drink, or smokes, how is that? He's in his head, he's wondering, why do so many people, He's like, why do so many people throw their lives away to do drugs? So he's genuinely, well, that's bad. He's like, that's down and dirty. Like, that's Trump. That's what he's running as. He's running as Trump. Kamala Harris is running as the tabula rasa, a blank slate. She's running as a change agent against her own regime. Don't get all people falling all over the place. Kamala is up in the polls. She could win. She could win. But do not fall for this trap. All right, this next segment's important. Everybody ready? Call your friends. Text them right now. McGroin Army. We're doing a mandatory roll call right here. Everybody's got to show up. We're going to get the Bongino Army shirt on today. I can't tell you this enough. If we win this election in November, Donald Trump's about to take office. That November to January period where he's the president-elect and is not sworn in yet is going to be absolute chaos like you've never seen. Get ready for the rent-a riots. I've got 2 short clips by Mike Benz, who's great at analyzing the deep state, who explains exactly the deep state model for this. This is going to be a banger coming up next. Stay tuned. Hey, you know those weight loss injections? Everybody's talking about them. You got to take the injections, occasionally, and they work by helping lower blood sugar and reduce appetite, but they're expensive. They're really expensive, and some people don't like weekly shots. Who knows what they do in the long run, anything like that. That's why Brickhouse Nutrition's doctors created a supplement called Lean. You'll see in the article, they actually talk about it. Corporations, how they all got together with the deep state to steal it from Donald Trump. Keep that blob of people in your head as you listen to cut 1 of Mike Benz talking about how the Democrats around the world, liberals and even swampy Republicans in the blob, use these rent-a-race riots all around the world to cause chaos. They're getting ready for one right now. That's why he keeps promoting the Fine People hoax. Here's part 1 of Ben's. Check this out.
I recently did a lecture. Actually, for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing these long streams going through the use of racial rent-a-riots by our foreign policy establishment very deliberately in order to force political outcomes around the world. And I've been going through CIA operations manuals, through special forces, Spectus documents, to show the very strange similarity between the politically motivated racial rent-a-riots orchestrated by our intelligence services and what happened in Minneapolis in the summer of 2020.
Folks, this is not new. Intelligence operatives, deep state blobsters, State Department folks, international bureaucrats, globalists, NGOs, organized labor. I'm not talking about the workers on the ground. You'll see what I mean in a second, in case you think I'm just throwing this out. They actually bragged about it. I'm talking about the management there. Street muscle. They know how to do these rent-a-racial riot mobs. There's a reason, although Biden has been discredited by Snopes. Do you have any idea how left-wing Snopes is? It's Snopes, in case you don't know, it's like the slope of a line with an end, Snopes. Snopes is an outright communist site. That's how leftist they are. Even they debunked the Trump called these white supremacists fine people. He did not. He actually explicitly condemned them. So why does Biden keep saying it? Because they're getting ready for these racial rent-a-riots in this November thing. And by the way, to any of these lefty scumbags out there who want to write, conspiracy theory, Dan Bongino, the left is going to riot. What's our record on conspiracy theories, Justin? It is absolutely, you're risking your, well, you're not risking, you don't have a reputation, but to the Dan Arkins of the world, who are like, Dan Bongino's a conspiracy theorist saying Trump's in danger. And then he got shot in the head. Dan Arkin, still no apology. I'm warning you, you write that piece, I'm going to be, you go ahead and do it. Knock yourself out. Nobody cares about what you say anyway. You are going to be the subject of my show when what I'm telling you is going to happen, happens if he wins. Guaranteed. These rent-a-riot mobs, the Democrats know exactly what they're doing. Here's part 2 where Benz describes exactly how the racial rent-a-riots are done not only here, but are done around the world in conjunction with the deep state. And then when I show you the Time article next, organized labor, CEOs, corporate America, the blob, you're going to be like, wow, did that happen here in 2020? Check out part 2.
A capacity build connections into the African workers who are working for Chinese companies, who are working in the African government transportation sector, who are working, in all the different trades, and they quote inflame tensions against the Chinese in order to have the Africans cut off their labor force. In the hypothetical, they brag about how they got 60% of Chinese businesses, the labor force, to leave, and they did this using U.S. taxpayers' money. Actually, they ended up bribing, in this hypothetical, the rioting workers in Africa with USAID job fairs, giving them no-show jobs, basically paying them to take to the streets and riot. And then essentially the State Department goes back to so you can see how this all works together. You have the intelligence services, you have the military, you have USAID, and you have the State Department. The State Department ends up going back to the African government, and the African government, basically to get the riots to stop and to bring peace back, they end up acquiescing and canceling the port deal. This is
government, NGOs, corporations in Africa working together to stoke racial hatred to get some political goal. Sound familiar? Political goal. Stop Donald Trump. Corporations, organized labor, the blob, the deep state. Oh shit, that happened here. And they even wrote about it. Time Magazine, Molly Ball, The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election. I've never seen this before. Justin's like, we've cut this thing so many times that he doesn't even need to cut it anymore. Let me just read to you how the Democrats, after they stole 2020, actually went and bragged about what they did with the blob. Quote, meaning they actually wrote this. This is not a Dan Bongino conspiracy theory. They actually wrote about it and bragged about it. Quote, there was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs, resistance to Trump. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. Sound familiar? The pact was formalized in a terse little notice joint statement of the Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Chamber of Commerce and the AFL-CIO and unions, aren't they supposed to be enemies? Both sides would come to see it as sort of an implicit bargain inspired by the summer's massive, destructive racial justice protests. In which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. Everybody just TO for a second. Time out, okay? Did you hear what Ben just said? Nobody does the deep state breakdown better than this guy. That there is this globalist model. It's like a paint by the numbers of how to cause enough societal strife. You know what we need? Hey, where's Guy? Is he around? Guy, can you pull for tomorrow? Remember Ehud Barak? That thing about we need to pull that for tomorrow. Folks, this is a do you have it? Yes. I'm going to take a break. Do not go anywhere before.
Very good mood.
Full of joy.
Full of joy. He's got a lot of joy. It's August 22nd. The rest is different. This is Fox and Friends. We're in New York. Lawrence is in Chicago, he claims. Vice President Kamala Harris addresses the DNC tonight as she continues to push vibes over policy. And more high-profile Democrats offer praise, but few details.
We need Kamala Harris, the president of joy.
She is a leader of strength and wisdom and eloquence on policy.
I think we owe it to the American people to tell them exactly what she'd do as president.
Former President Donald Trump will join Fox and Friends Live this morning to react, and that's the headshot he gave us.
That's right. And the DNC's increased security isn't stopping the violence in Chicago. I talked to family members of victims who shared their message to Democrats. Watch.
Actually do something for the community.
Please do more to keep these criminals, these drug dealers, and people that shoot guns off the streets.
She gonna be a number and I'm gonna be a number. And that's not fair.
Plus, the wild moment a woman comes face to face with a 500-pound tiger after breaking into a zoo's enclosure.
Right. There's a few things wrong there.
Fox and Friends starts right now. And remember, mornings are better with friends. Vice presidential nominee Tim Walz and Democrat elites like former President Bill Clinton and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Oprah hyping up Vice President Kamala Harris in high-profile speeches on night 3 of the DNC.
So tonight, Harris closes out the event at the United Center where I'm at. She'll formally accept the Democratic nomination.
All right, Griff Jenkins is live in Washington to preview and review. Hey, Griff.
Hey, good morning, guys. Night 3 is in the history books, and that feel-good vibe was once again the theme, starting with former President Clinton.
All right, thank you, Griff. So before they turn the party over to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the ancients of the Democratic Party got to have their time on the stage, and it's really shocking to see how they leaned into their moment. First of all, Bill Clinton mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name. I have been told on very good authority that that is racist.
Right.
That is not appropriate, President Clinton. Secondarily, I cannot believe they're leaning into Godmother. I mean, it's too perfect. A party run like the mafia. She takes out Joe Biden, the sitting, I don't know, godfather, to assert her power and pass on to the next lieutenant. It's insane. They're leaning into Godmother.
And then Bill Clinton was talking about how old Donald Trump is. They're both 78. He just said he's a few months younger because he just turned 78 2 days ago. They're running on weird. They're running on joy. They're running on happy. Bill Clinton said one of the reasons Harris is doing so well is that we are so happy. Are you happy when you pay for your groceries? Are you happy when you fill up your gas tank? Are you happy when you try to buy your dream house right now?
But the thing is, Ansley, I think that those themes are true, and I'll add some more. They do not know that Joe Biden's a Democrat in the White House, and Kamala Harris is not familiar with the fact that she's vice president. At least she hasn't told anyone in the building. They are running as if Donald Trump is still in the White House, and they are fighting for freedom. Where did that come from? And instead of Donald Trump being a threat to democracy, which wasn't working according to the polls, and they wasted millions of dollars pushing that down everybody's throats, now they're saying that Donald Trump is just he is a small man who will take away your freedom. They want to make him. They want to just make him crazy. They don't want to no longer say he's a threat to democracy. That's the whole Barack Obama yesterday saying you shouldn't fear him. He's a bully. And I'm saying to myself, if you want to say that Donald Trump's not tough, it's a weird time to do it. 1 month ago, he got shot in the head, stood up with blood on his face, and yelled, "Fight, fight, fight." He's also gone through 4 indictments, a 4-week trial, weathered them all, got the nomination, was leading and knocked out their previous candidate, the sitting president of the United States, to the point where you had to pick somebody else. And now you're telling us that guy's not tough enough, Lawrence.
Well, I find the whole thing to be torturous. The fact that we've had to stay up all night to get some type of substance out of them. But I almost feel like, guys, that they went into a room, all of them, from Oprah to the former president, Bill Clinton, and they poll tested all these phrases. No policy with it. Just what feels good, and then they just put it all in these different speeches, because if you take the words and you try to line them up with reality, I mean, you even had Oprah that talked about preserving the Constitution. You got Democrats that want to pack the court, okay? I think that's unconstitutional just on the surface of this. So you got Walz talking about, we owe the American people to present our ideas.
Yeah, that would be great.
Know what we stand on the policy. We've been saying that for weeks now, and yet this morning we get up and there's still nothing listed on the website. So I think that they feel that the American voters are clueless, and that it's all about Donald Trump, and that they can continue to push these false narratives. Here's just a few of them for someone who wants to be the next vice president. Watch.
It's the 4th quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team. But not everyone has that same sense of responsibility. Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Their Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. When somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it. And we know if these guys get back in the White House, They'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class. They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act. They'll gut Social Security and Medicare. And they will ban abortion across this country.
Unbelievable. They just make it up, completely make it up. This is one of the things that they do. Whenever there's an opposing view or something that is a narrative that is false, the first thing for a Republican is to disavow it. Can you please get on record and disavow? Donald Trump said, I have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to put any of these proposals. These are the list of the ideas that I stand on. And they still running with it, guys.
Well, Lawrence, I mean, when we go to the polls, we're not voting because they tell us she's full of joy, or because she's happy, or because the Republicans are weird. That whole messaging is very weird to me. We're voting on the issues, and when you look at Kamala Harris, she won't give an interview, so we don't know if she truly has flip-flopped. We don't really know what she stands for. You can't find it on her website. She hasn't listed where she stands on any of these issues, but her campaign subordinates are out there saying no, she's changing her views. So let's go through some of her policies, what they used to be and what her campaign is now saying it is. Let's take energy first. In 2019, she endorsed a nationwide ban on oil and gas fracking. Remember, she said there is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. But then this year, a few weeks ago, her campaign says no, she doesn't support a total ban on fracking.
Well, but right now there is a nationwide ban, pause, on all LNG leases. So right now we're not exporting any more LNG. So if she really believed that, she would turn around and tell Joe Biden to lift the ban, the pause, right now. And it hurts people like anyone in Pennsylvania at all.
And then if you go through all the different positions she's taken in the past on the biggest issues when it comes to actual substance, take a look at the economy. She supported the New Green Deal, the Green New Deal in 2019, which included a federal jobs guarantee. Now, 5 years later, she's saying she no longer supports a federal jobs guarantee.
Even though she co-sponsored that bill.
Unbelievable. And then when you go to health care, this is a big one. She supported Medicare for all. Now, this includes illegals as well. This is what her position was back in the day. And now her campaign says that she won't push for Medicare for all.
Right.
She supported the bill. She co-sponsored the bill.
That bill in 2019, and she wants to take away your private insurance company.
And part of the reason that she was voted the most liberal senator in the Senate in 2019 is because she co-sponsored that. And by the way, it's very hard to find that study these days. They basically try to expunge the internet of it. It must be one of those advertising firms to have a reputation defender. She must have hired them.
It's called Meta.
Yeah, it must be just calling over to her buddies.
Working in Silicon Valley.
Who all love her. When it comes to immigration in 2019, she supported decriminalizing border crossings. And she wanted everybody, by the way, to have a shot at health care and medical benefits as well as school. In 2024, she's calling for a strong border. She's running ads on this and earn a pathway to citizenship.
Wait, I thought the border was secure, Brian.
Right, no, but she's running ads using Donald Trump's wall in the backdrop, talking about how she's been tough as a prosecutor.
And then when it comes to crime, in 2019, she ran as a progressive prosecutor looking to end cash bail. And then this year, she's saying her campaign is, as of a few weeks ago, described by the campaign as pragmatic prosecutor taking on predators and fraudsters.